EDM Twitter talk. I had to do the fucking. I had to do the sounds myself because Nitty Gritty originally did the intro, and he's in my doghouse right now for doing the Florida shit. So I just did it myself until somebody else wants to make music. I'm in the music community who makes lots of bass noises. So eventually, one of you guys has got to make something cool for me, right? But anyway, I am here. EDM Twitter talks. The main subject today is going to be follow trains, and I'm going to join the chat. Give me here a second here. There we go. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, no.
All right, cool. Yeah, I had them muted from the intro, so you don't have to be here, maybe do really obnoxious shit. So we're gonna go introductions. We're gonna do introductions first. We're gonna start at the top left corner. So Rob, you go first.
Okay, so that's backwards on my screen.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. So reverse order
Jay's
for
on my
you guys
part.
is backwards. Yeah.
All right, so yeah,
That's it. That was your intro.
yeah.
You're.
I don't know, like I don't like being that person who plugs their.
No, I know. Okay,
Twitter
so this
shit
is
in,
Rob
so.
at Naps Part Time. He's a cool guy. He plays video games with us. Yeah, that's I don't know what else to say for you.
I'm like, I don't know, like, do you? I don't know.
Just do you like listening? Like we were talking about before, you like cranioledium and headbanging and excision? Like, what's your thing?
We're gonna start already?
What's up, Brian?
And so it begins.
All right, so all right, we're gonna go next. We're gonna do Sarah. Tell us a little about yourself.
What's up, y'all? My name's Sarah. I've been doing Twitter for almost 12 years now. I belong to the EDM community as well as the LGBT plus community. My favorite color is mustard yellow and lilac, and I like walks on the beach. But no, I listen to, I want to say almost every genre of the EDM music, excision, a lot of Sullivan King. But I also go all the way back to oldies. That includes Stevie O. I just want to say that. Okay.
Rad. Yo, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate you, man. And thank you guys for stopping by. Next on the list, we got Jay in the bottom left corner.
Howdy. My name's Jay. I've been listening to dubstep mainly for the past 10 years. I'm EDM's resident vibe killer. And I'm here to make everything boring and lame tonight.
All right. Now that we got Captain Sandpaper out of the way, we'll go with Ron. Ron's in the bottom right hand corner. And give us a little intro.
You're muted, bro.
Am I muted? Can you guys hear me?
No, there we go.
Oh, sorry. I think I was just lagged out for a second. All right. You're muted. Can't hear you. Can you? What's that? Can't hear you. Can you guys hear him? Do you have any connection
Ron's
difficulties?
game is too strong.
Oh no. Oh, I can hear you now. It's kind of weird though.
I'm changing my Twitter name right now as we're doing this.
Oh, he's coming back.
He's
Oh
Oh,
no. Okay,
There
he's
he
back.
is.
There's the cat. That's what I thought he looked like the whole time.
motherfucker, he's been lying to us.
Oh, no, you're still like can't hear you.
Is it muted on Discord?
No, he's not muted for me anywhere. You guys can hear him, or is it just me?
I can't hear him.
No, we can't hear.
I can't hear him.
Yo, Ben
Anyone hear
Herman,
me?
thank you for the
Hello?
subscription while we're doing this. Everything worked in the
Is that
sound check
working?
as soon as you can work now.
Dude.
I think.
Is it working?
There you go.
There we go. Yeah.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Oh, we're back.
Okay, you can. Oh, thank God. That was so weird. I don't know why it was working during the preliminaries. Anyway,
And then it was just like, no, show started. Goodbye.
right. What's up? Ron, been listening to electronic music. I don't know, probably since like Infected Mushroom 2005. Pretty much just, I don't know, just like don't really have too much of a Twitter identity, I guess, since being a guy with a hoodie cat. Like, just like memes, that's pretty much it. Like,
The residential shit posting meme master.
The meme lord.
Yeah, love it. All right, so like as we were talking about before, our main topic is going to be Violet trains. But before we do that, just to get everybody better acquainted with like the actual person, not just like, you know, the cat picture, you know, we're just going to trying to get to know everybody. So first question I'm going to ask everybody is, what's your spirit animal? We'll start with Rob.
Personally, I think my spirit animal would be a sloth. I really like naps. I just like sleep.
Relatable.
Yeah. So a sloth, I like that because you like to sleep a lot.
I do.
I mess with that, dude. How about Sarah? What's your spirit animal?
I have and always been a bear. I am very protective over my friends. But when you get to really know me, I'm a big teddy bear, so I'm a softie. I just look intimidating.
I like it. All right, Jay, how about you?
I'm gonna go with a ringer choice and say my cat because all he wants to do is lay around and eat and sleep, and that's pretty much all I want to do.
Yeah, that's the life. How about you, Ron?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's gone again. Yeah. Yeah.
You can feel Ron's rage.
I kind of like it. It's interesting. Mime to us before. No, mime to us what your favorite animal is right now. What? Hello? Yep. Oh, a cat? Is that a cat? Is that a cat? You gotta do the cat claws if it's a cat.
okay. Is this working?
Yep. You're good.
Oh my. Okay. That was like third time's the charm, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that. I was beginning to say like if I pick something other than a cat, do I get like canceled?
Yep.
Pretty much.
Immediately.
Okay. Well then
I'm going at you.
Probably.
So it's not a cat?
No. It's definitely a cat.
Oh, it's definitely a cat?
100%.
Okay. All right.
Like I definitely resonate with the sentiment of just like wanting to eat and sleep.
It's
Yeah.
a good choice.
Like
I feel like I want to say something like, you know, I want to like a wolf, I like to run with a pack, but it's definitely something much lazier than that. You know what I mean? Like
that's yeah. Why resign yourself?
Like I do stuff, but it's only because I get bored. It's not because I actually want to. You know what I mean? So I don't know what that. I don't really know what that is. So I don't know. I want to say something manly like a wolf, but I think it's probably like more feline, to be honest. So I definitely just do stuff because I'm bored. There's no other reason. Otherwise, I'd be so lazy. Next one. This one's a little more serious, I guess, sort of. Would you like to live forever, and why? We'll start the same rotation. You go ahead, Rob.
Okay. I don't think so because I have a really bad problem with getting connected to people, and I don't want to just keep getting connected to people and watching them die.
That sounds awful. Yeah.
Mm.
How about you, Sarah?
Definitely not. I have learned to live and enjoy what I have so far. I don't want to do it forever. Just no, not internal.
Got it.
We're good.
How about you, Jay?
Okay, so I said this one earlier when we were setting everything up. No, because life is a lot like soccer. My parents signed me up for it without asking me, and I fucking hate soccer.
That's really good. I don't have a soccer ball emote, but I would say everybody put the soccer balls in chat.
Fantastic.
Yo, thank you for the subscription, Calianos. I appreciate you. Gonna get caught up in chat. As you can see, it looks like Otter Daddy says you got 3 toes like a sloth. So that's Pretty accurate.
God damn it, Jeremy.
Shout out to the Laser Shark crew. I love you guys.
Love Jeremy.
There we go. Soccer balls in chat.
Wait, I gotta participate in this. Give me a sec.
Here we go. And then what about you, Ron?
Honestly, like it's tempting, but I definitely would say no. Because I mean, like you would want to be able, like, why is the question never like, do you want to live like as long as you feel like it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like if there was an endpoint where you're just like, I'm done, goodbye. Like
Yeah,
I've done it for like
yeah,
400
exactly.
years. Because that's like, I guess that's
Yeah.
the trade-off, right? Like, do you want to have infinite suffering, but you can like pretty much do anything you want because you can fail infinitely?
Yeah,
Or do you
I mean,
want, or do you just want to see like,
that part sounds terrible.
yeah. But that's kind of what you have to do. Like, I don't know. Like, I would learn piano because I would get so bored because I'd be live so long.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to do but learn piano. So, like,
Yeah,
I'd be like a
it's
really good
true.
piano player eventually because I'd be so bored of doing everything else. So, I think that's kind of an interesting thing. I think I would like to do it just because I get to try out a bunch of shit. I get to see, like, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know if I would get, I would be like it would be weird because you forfeit your humanity, right? You'd be like a passive observer. Like, look at all these
Exactly.
plebeians fucking make these mistakes that I made 300 years ago, and they're not going to listen to you. It's just like Twitter. Even if you knew you had something to say and it was important,
Exactly.
nobody would you'd get 3 retweets. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
important.
dude.
On a good day.
On a good day, right? Yeah. And then somebody who tweets, you know, pee pee poo poo like Ron gets 400 retweets, and then we're like, that's the true meaning of life.
How does it work?
It's just
The
an
algorithm?
absolute swagger.
So I guess the last one we had before we get into the topic, you guys, pizza or pasta? Right, pasta.
Oh,
That's
pasta or
tough.
pizza.
I
That's
think I'm
tough.
gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with pasta.
Pasta.
I can't. My Alfredo.
Oh, you go Alfredo
It's
wrap.
just. It's yeah.
How about you, Sarah?
Pasta.
Oh, you skipped already, dude. We didn't even get in the fucking.
Oh shit.
Damn.
I don't know what's
We're
going
not
on,
even
man.
into the
I'm
serious stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll leave now. Bye.
No, you're good. You're good.
Take a nap. I'm just kidding. Probably pizza for sure.
Pizza? That's a good answer,
Yeah.
I think. What about you? All right, Jay. You said pasta?
Not Jay. Yep.
Yeah, okay. And then Ron, what did you want?
Do you guys remember those like pasta bowls from Domino's?
Yeah.
Yo.
Yes.
I feel like
No.
that's that's both of them. And I feel like that's what I. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was
what
like,
I
would
want.
you eat it? It's
He
like, this
just wants the
tastes
bread bowl.
curiously like pizza.
Yeah,
Why not both?
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Thank you. That's my answer. Final answer.
Chat,
Respect
pineapple pasta? All right.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. That's
Jeremy
cursed.
needs to go to jail.
That's
Yeah,
cursed.
somebody disconnect Jeremy's internet.
Okay, like, since you're in here, right, we have to debate, like, the pineapple on pizza. Like, right? Like,
Oh,
Okay.
fucking Christ.
like, there's no real good answer, but, like, it's
only one answer.
theoretically sweet and salty go together, so I don't know what your fucking bag is. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
So that's all I gotta say on that. You have no retort, so I'm gonna say I won that debate.
It's getting tweeted out right now.
Chat is not liking that I went with the pineapple on pizza roll. I'm sorry if I let
Okay.
anybody down.
Okay. Salty cheese and pineapple, god tier combo. Anyone that says differently, it doesn't have taste buds. It's that simple.
Listen, I'm
Ooh, okay.
always allergic to pineapple, so if you made
Oh,
it right,
okay.
Ooh, no.
fine.
Okay, you know what? You get a pass on just on merit on this one.
Yeah, like you shouldn't have to go through like trial by death just to eat some pizza.
Yeah,
Like-
no, yeah, exactly. You get a pass.
Yeah.
Not Rob though.
No, fuck you.
All right, so we're gonna get into the actual like the thing, right? So I was kind of talking about this in the pre-show. It's really weird when you try to explain kind of like how our community happened.
Mm.
It feels like it was really spread out and it was really hard to find each other. Like I could find people when I typed in the search bar like Lost Lands or something. And because I tried that and I found like 2 or 3 people. But I didn't find anybody that was like, like they just tweeted about it or was part of like a big thing. And then one day it felt like there was like 15 follow trains that happened. And then everybody's
Yeah.
following blew up overnight. And all of a sudden we knew, you know, all like over 1,000 people each in a lot of these scenarios that we've never talked to before we've had similar like similar interests in. And this is weird because it's like Facebook, like we were talking about too, Facebook, you join a group, right? Like when you want to talk about something specific. Twitter, you kind of just get thrown into it and like you're part of this group now because this is who interacts with you most and vice versa for this content. So like we kind of created like a little community for ourselves, like an accident. But it's really strange because the people who it seemed like profited most off of those, well, profited, I guess, but like benefited most from those follow trains ended up being leaders of the community, whether they asked for it or not. And so that's really interesting. So the first thing I'm going to ask for is like, I don't know how I'm going to word this. How do you think are follow trains overall effective? Like, did they work? Did they get everybody connected the way they were supposed to, or is there some kind of overall flaw? What do you think?
Who's starting first? Or are we just gonna go in a
we're gonna
circle?
start. Yeah, same circle. And if you don't have anything, you can always pass until somebody says something. So you just say pass.
Do you want to repeat it one more time? Like, what was the
Yeah. So
actual question you're asking?
are follow trains effective? Like, do they get you active followers and put you in a community, or do they, or what do you think that what are they effective at? I guess a better way to phrase the question.
That's actually kind of tough.
Right.
I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do them for. If you're trying to use them to actually meet people, or if you're just trying to gain some kind of internet presence to like validate yourself. I don't know. Personally, I'm not a big fan of them, but that's just because a lot of people aren't doing them to actually meet friends or meet new people, but they're doing it for the internet presence.
Okay. And then Sarah, what's your answer to that question?
So yes, they are they work. It really, I want to say during the beginning of the pandemic, everybody needed the love and support that the community does tend to give out once in a while. And we all kind of blew up. That would definitely come from Fit Marguerite as being one of the leaders. I will sprinkle a little bit. When I jumped back into the EDM community, because I did take a break from 2016 to 2018, 2019, I came back to Twitter with probably about 12,000 followers. And then coming from 2020, just from her follow trains themselves, I had gained 5,000. But you also have to, it's not just her page, it's the follow train page, the follow train help page that have also the EDM follow help train page that has also promoted, and us retweeting each other helps like other people of the EDM community. Sometimes people don't listen to the directions and they will like and retweet and then will not follow anybody back. That's what we don't like. But then there's other people who really do want to find people that are closer to you, people who you can go to drive through events, or someone that is in New York and you're going to go to a music festival sometime in the future where you're able to make a connection with one another. So I believe they do in the best way.
Awesome. What about you, Jay?
I'm gonna kind of like start this from the perspective of I come from the hardcore and the metal community first, and that genre has always been big about making sure that the community is connected and intertwined together. And EDM Twitter has done the same thing. Unfortunately, a lot of the practices of holding people accountable and ensuring that there aren't people gaming the system to gain followers and influence over other people, it gets kind of tough to tell those people that they're stepping out of line or that what they're saying isn't exactly like the greatest thing. And because they've got a followers and they've got all those friends that back them up immediately without thinking, it's kind of created this like paradox of it's important to be connected with the people that you share interests with, but at the same time, like it's important to make sure that those people are held accountable and to the same standards that you hold yourself, right? It's kind of like this. It's tough. Like they did exactly what they were intended to do, but evidently, like negative side effects came out of it. So they worked, but they didn't work at the same time.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good summary. What about you, Ron? What do you think?
So like I think ultimately they work in the sense that like you get out of it what you put into it. So I think like ultimately if you're really looking to, I don't know, find new people to interact with, then you definitely if you're looking for people just to sort of follow you and boost a number, like you can get that too. I feel like, you know, I think I used to do them kind of like, I don't know, a few years ago when I really like got into Twitter, and like it definitely gave me people to follow and like I met people and stuff. But I think ultimately, like at the end of the day, you shouldn't like do it for the reason of just boosting some sort of number that's not really important enough. You should like do it to like find new people to actively interact with. So I think like in the sense of like, is it successful? Yeah, I think it's successful, but it just depends on like how much people are, you know, sort of willing to like take it as something more than just trying to like get a number up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really well said.
Yeah. So there's like, I'm just gonna do like a quick summary. Rob, like one of the detractors, you said one of the reasons you don't like him is a lot of it's like guessing made for, like the best way I can boil that down is like a lot of people use it for self-gratification more than they use it for connecting with people.
Yeah.
Right. And then another one, like the big positive is that like you now have this big group. Sarah talked about, you have this group of people that is traditionally known, and I've experienced it as well. I mean, obviously this community has been really great. Like you're now connected with these people who's kind of like the, like, I don't want to say brand, but like who we are, especially at festival and in festival environment, are all about love and support and making sure that everybody is, like everybody's happy. Like, you know, like it's kind of, we're always the kind of people be like, that guy needs water, let's just get him water, you know, like that's who we are as a community and as a group. And I think like when you connect with a large group of people like that, that can be really great. Looks like Lost Lines Mayor in the chat said it seemed like it might be geared towards internet clout for numbers. So similar as like the self-gratification thing. Melly Melody mentioned it's good for networking if you're part of the music industry, and nobody really touched on that. But I think that's also very true. It has been, I think as far as like monetarily for people, ended up being a really good thing, and not just for like musicians, but also the entire, like when you go to a festival, there's so much more going into it than there is just the musicians. Like there's obviously the people playing, but they're the show, and all these little other communities, you know, like the heady stuff, like, you know, glass blowing and like you know, wire wraps and all that stuff around it has probably been able to, like, you know, 400 times the reach they would normally have probably if they weren't connected to this kind of community.
Sure.
And I think that's really interesting as well. They're probably doing way better as far as like having to grind. I mean, now they have more competition as far as like they're connected. The other people are connected too, but at least you can be seen super easily, which I think is interesting. And then looks like seen from Cole. I think his name is on here is Cole. What is it on here? It's Ryan, I think. Yeah, it's Cole.
Still
yeah,
Cole. It's Ryan.
So the main, I know it's Ryan, but I wanted to make sure.
Degenerate.
Yeah. So the main reason they were creatively successful, but the negative side effects might be worse off. And that's like, and this is a good question. Like, what do you think? I don't know. Like, what are the negative side effects specifically? Like, if we were to get into it, like, what is exactly, even if it is about self-gratification, right? Why is that such a terrible thing when that is a common thing amongst most communities? Like, there's a lot of people who just want to be friends with you just so they can say that they're friends and they're influential. Like that happens in real life a lot. So like, I'm interested to see why that's so much more detrimental for Twitter than would be realistically in life. So I don't know. Do you have any answers or have any thoughts about that, Rob?
All right, so you kind of strung that along, and it kind of lost me there.
Yeah. Sorry. So like, yeah, I did. But like, it's like kind of like a loaded. It's like an interesting question. Like, I guess the direct question would be the negative side effects. Are they actually any worse than they would be in real life? Or are they any worse than they would be in real life? Like, why are we so worried about the negative side effects as opposed to what good they've done?
So like one of the things that I personally have had an issue with it is because sometimes it does give the wrong people the platform that they have. People who like obviously not everybody who does them's got any kind of bad intentions. Even the people who I lost myself. Basically, like, I've seen people who have gotten these big platforms, 10, 15, 20,000 plus, from follow trains or just their presence on Twitter. And when you have that kind of a platform, like, people will listen to you more. And if I'm trying to figure out how to word what I'm thinking.
Yeah, take your time.
So if you want to go with somebody else,
sure,
I'll actually put it together.
Yeah. So, do you have anything to say or?
So I kind of get where Rob's coming with that. Once you do have a good amount of followers, it can be good and it can be bad. It really just depends on what you post. But I will also say some people do not treat you like a human being. They will automatically see you for clout, or so again, most of us do these follow trains specifically to meet other people, but a lot of people get it mixed with, oh, they're just trying to get more followers. Oh, you have enough followers, you don't need any more than that. But it's like, no, we're really trying to make it like an actual connection. But people will read. It's kind of like being the popular kid. Like, people see you intimidating, but they don't really understand how alone you can be. If that makes sense.
Yeah. How specifically for you? Oh shit, my headphone. Can you guys hear me? Hello.
Yeah. You're
Okay, sorry, my headphones got super weird. So when you have that many people, Cole asked this in chat. When you have that many people that you interact with, like, how do you? Your feed is huge. It's got to be like really huge, right? Like, it just got to be, or do they like really cut down? Like, how do you interact with that many people all the time? It's like, I'm just curious as well what that's like.
Okay, a lot of people have that. So the algorithm actually takes a lot of that specifically. I will see a lot of people who I like from and retweet, and then I'll see more of their tweets. But then there's when I follow new people, some of their newer tweets come in just to be like, hey, this is what you're following and this is what they're saying. But I will say that my timeline is never boring. So I try my best to interact with as many people as I do and as I can.
Yeah.
Just so they don't think that I'm over here trying to get a follow. It's like, no, I really want to be your friend. So
no, I get it. Jay, do you have something to say about the last question?
I think it's kind of one of those situations where it's always important to like address negative aspects of things, and being ignorant of the fact that there are people that have followings that are peddling, I think, dangerous conspiracies or anti-science stuff. And especially with everything going on right now, it's easy to get caught up in those kind of things. I'm always very vocal about it's important that we need to talk about the negative things, because if we ignore the negative things, it only allows them to thrive and become stronger, and then it's even harder to combat as a community.
Mhm.
And there was something, I believe it was Melly Melody said, not everybody deserves to have a platform, and follow trains they can have the ability to empower those when they exploit them. And I think we all know exactly who she's talking about. And I'm not going to name names, because as much as I love dealing with people like that, I don't want to right now. It's my weekend. So I think it's important that we don't allow those situations. And like I said, like in the first question, it's the side of like EDM is supposed to be such a positive and happy environment, and it can be that. But my friend at one point said we can't have a safe space that includes everybody, because if we allow everybody in, it's no longer a safe space for people that are at risk of being attacked by people that are peddling alt-right conspiracy theories, and people like me that are, if I get sick, like there's a high chance that I have to go into the hospital, like, and people negating that. Like it's one of those things, like we have to make sure that we are cultivating an environment at shows and online that doesn't allow those kind of people to thrive, because that only puts the rest of us in danger. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
What about
that's
you,
my
Ron?
answer.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we share a lot of the same sentiments on it. You know, it's like something that was created for good. You know what I mean? But is also exploitable. I think it's just a lot of the issues come from, you know, people thinking that just because someone has a high follower count means they're credible. And, you know, they don't know these people, so they see these people with the tens of thousands or whatever kind of number, and them maybe being new to Twitter, the community, they just kind of see this and then put a lot of stock in them, put them on a pedestal. And, you know, sometimes it's for good, obviously, because there are a lot of positive people. But the exact same thing goes for, you know, people who exploit it just to get a platform and then tweet out shitty stuff.
All right. Yeah. So I agree on a lot of the points made. Like, there's definitely, you know, it's an exploitable thing that, like, it's like, it's a positive thing that is exploited. But like, what can we do? Oh, Rob, did you get back to your point that you wanted to make, or is it somebody else kind of make it for
And
you?
so just about like between the other three people, they've kind of covered everything. Like exploit was the word I was looking for. Like you can give the wrong people the platform, and they're going to completely take advantage of it.
Yeah. So, like, what do you guys think we can do, like, moving forward? It's like, what? So, the way we are talking to each other now, the way we talk to each other on like Twitter, the way like we interact, it is like, it's weird. Like, is it negativity bias that we're seeing more negative things, or is that just kind of what gets or does negativity bias is what gets the interactions? Um, or is there like a better way that we can like be like, hey, like not necessarily deplatform the people who are exploiting it, but is there a better way for us to, you know, point out when we know somebody's exploiting their, you know, their following? Or is it just kind of something we have to deal with? Like they have it now, and now what? Basically,
So
what are
like,
solutions?
I mean, from what we've seen, you know, since quarantine started, a couple pretty big accounts have been called out and made known as shitty people, and you can still go look at a couple of these people's profiles today. They got 10, 15, 20,000 followers still. Like, you're not really going to ever be able to get somebody off of that pedestal, but you can stop new people from piling onto it.
Sarah, what do you think? What was that? Sorry.
Oh, did it go? Okay. I'm going to pass.
Okay. What about you, Jay?
Can you just quickly repeat the question so I can refresh what I'm talking on?
Yeah. So what is like some solutions to like, what are some solutions to maybe not decrease the influence, but to kind of point out like the issue of somebody having more followers because they just kind of got them. And like, what do we do about that? I mean, it feels like we are doing something about it already by just kind of trying to hold them accountable with words. But it seems like maybe our hands are tied, maybe with some of the things that other people respond with. So, like, is there a way that we can go forward to help fix this?
Yeah. I mean, everybody that has had me pop up on their Twitter knows that my method is usually the scorched earth outright aggression. And clearly, when it's aimed at a lot of these people, they still have friends and followers and people that will defend them no matter what. So I think it's important as we get these new people into the community or people that start paying more attention, it's important that we as people be like, hey, I see you interacting with this person. Like, this is what they're known for. This is what they've done. Like, we need to make sure that we're communicating about these negative people to people that might not know that. Like, I had somebody a while ago that I'm mutuals with that was following somebody that was in my mentions being an outright racist, and I said like, hey, this person said this, like, I just want to let you know. And they said, okay, I didn't know that, and they unfollowed them immediately. Like, it's important that because we are the community, the people within it are the community, we're the ones that are tasked with making sure that it's safe and ensuring that everybody is able to prosper in this community as much as possible.
Yeah. What about you, man?
So yeah.
I think, sort of like the is there a solution question. I mean, I think there's as much of a solution as like any self-aware person wants to create for themselves on that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you can take it upon yourself to make sure you aren't following these sort of people or interacting with them, and you can maybe even tell some people, but at the end of the day, it's also up to those people that you tell to like take it upon themselves to do something about it. So like at the end of the day, all these people with pedestals that, it's like they're saying stuff that we don't want to hear, or not even we don't want to hear, but saying things that are, objectively harmful. And how do you get them off? Well, it's like at the end of the day, each person, it's kind of up to them to make that decision for themselves to stop interacting with them, following them. So, I mean, is there a real solution? Kind of, but it's just to get people to be more self-aware.
Yeah. Sarah, did you want to get back to anything before I kind of ask any more questions?
No, I basically passed because I wanted to hear y'all's opinions. But I agree with everybody. There's only so much that someone can tell you that, oh, this person did this and did that. And if they have taken the accountability of what they've done, I mean, just kind of like reach out, but you can't force someone to mute or block another person.
Yeah.
No matter what they've done.
So I kind of like, I mean, that question, I didn't mean to do this, but it ended up being kind of like a leading question. So like the best thing to do is to be vocal about what you see. It's a kind of like, so here's the thing, like Twitter, people like to think that it's like, I don't know. I feel like some people look at it like it's like a static thing, when in reality, it's just like a constantly evolving conversation. It's just like our speech or normal things. It's like, it really kind of makes you like be introspective on like how you talk in real life too, because certain things influence you or how you feel. Like your public speech is really important to like big issues. Like it influences how other people vote, and so therefore it influences other people's like our life and our society, especially here or just anywhere in the world. Like it was really important. So like if you were really vocal, right? Like is there like I know I'm not like really big on tone policing. I don't want to be like, oh, how you say it is really important, because like everybody should be held accountable however the other person wants to hold them accountable for it. But like, how would we go about like talking to another person or other people? Like it looks like Cole said it, like a lot of people getting into it are young and impressionable. If we don't make public statements that like this person sucks, how, like, that's not cancel culture as much as it is just being like, hey, you know, this isn't something that we actually uphold as part of our values when you're joining the scene.
Yeah. That was something I was going to touch up, actually. That Ryan's comment, that is like nail on the head. It takes
Yeah.
responsibility from all of us to make sure that young and vulnerable members of our community are protected, because, like I said, we're part of it. We need to be active in making sure that this community is safe for people.
Yeah. Okay. So
Sorry to hop out of turn there. I just had to agree with that.
no. Yeah. That was what kind of his comment kind of like was like followed me, kind of put me into that situation where it's like, yeah, I guess it's like really hard. It is really hard because when you're being a public persona, you have to constantly you do, like, if you have a brand, you do have to worry about, your numbers and what people think of you. But at the same time, that like doesn't really matter. Like the first priority should be making sure everybody's like okay, right? Like, is there a way, like, where is like the line that it starts to, like, I guess it's personal for everybody, but like, what do we do? Like, it just feels weird sometimes. Like, I can't constantly make my entire brand on the internet like calling somebody a moron when they're being a moron. Like, that's yours, kind
Make
of.
it tag
Yeah,
here.
but that is kind of yours, Jay. But like, that's like, but you also
Yes,
get,
you can.
but like, yeah, you can make your entire thing that, but it's a really hard to, as like an artist or whatever. And then we also hold, those guys have the highest pedestal of all, because they're the reason why we show up to this thing in the first place. So like, do we have to like have like, there are artists, is it really important for artists to do this as well, like hold them accountable? Like, hey, look, like there was that case, early EDM Twitter days where like one of the biggest members of a fan base was one of the most, scariest people on the app for like impressionable people. And like, so like, is that something that we should ask of some of the bigger tentpole personalities too? Like, should we hold like those people accountable as well for like their fan base? I think that's really interesting. What do you think,
So
Rob?
that's it's kind of tricky. Like if you're asking, like it's sounding like, for example, pretty sure we're thinking of the same person, but when it comes to an artist and having a fan who is pretty big in their fan community, there's not really a whole lot the artist can do besides flat out say, I don't associate with them or any of their actions. That's about all they can do.
Yeah.
Besides that, they can't control that person's following and how big of an influence they have even within their own family.
Yeah. It's because like, yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just like, Sarah, what do you think? I want to tie it back over to the follow trains before you go. Like, because follow trains made those, like, those people probably never really had a following or existed before. All of a sudden, one day, you have a fucking, Wooly super fan. What do you do? Like, and Wooly's like, I gotta, like, this person has got 10,000 followers, and every time, and they tweet about me every day. They do something really crappy. My name's attached to that. How do I manage that? And so,
Talking
like,
shit about you, Shelly.
yeah, Shelly. I'm like, as soon as I was just trying to find any DJ, and as soon as I said that, I like knew who I was gonna start talking about. And that's not what I meant. But like,
she hasn't even done anything bad. I just want to.
No, I know, yeah. But Sarah, do you have any like anything input on that? That's kind of weird, right?
No, I know exactly who we're talking about too. But yeah, it takes a lot to take that accountability and be extremely, like Cole said, and I just read their comment. It does take a lot of guts to come out and say what you got to say, but at the end of it, it really depends on the followers and if they accept what that person has done and wants to continue following them and supporting them. That's completely up to them.
Yeah.
But if they're like, hey, one and done, we're like, I'm done, I'm gonna let you go, and that's it. Like, it is what it is. You kind of have to go. I hope I answered.
That's a good answer. Jay, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I'm gonna like kind of hurrying this into another point that I've talked about a lot, is that it's kind of like super fans are in some ways kind of dangerous to the artist, because your actions, because you're so associated with that artist, now everything that you do reflects immediately on them. And I know that as much as I disagree with some of his politics, Subtronics has stopped associating with a lot of his super fans because they've started to become kind of dangerous. And as much as I like, it's nice to see that. It's also frustrating because they didn't make any, like, it's important for the artist to talk about those kind of things and be like, this is why I don't think, but I can't expect that because I know that's how I would do it. I know that I hold myself to different standards than other people do. So it's going to be frustrating to be like, hey, you know, maybe you should speak up about the fact that this person that's been active in your Facebook group and has been a super fan for years on Twitter is kind of dangerous. But we can't expect the artist to say anything. We just kind of need to know that they're dangerous kind of on our own. So I don't know.
While you're around, what do you think?
I think someone being a super fan, I don't know, it just kind of comes down to like as far as them having a platform and then the artist being accountable for or being associated with whatever they say. I think, at the end of the day, it's going to be sort of hard to prevent against that sort of thing, as insofar as like taking away someone's platform. But at the end of the day, I think people just, I don't know, just like it comes kind of back to like self accountability. As long as people just don't put these people on a pedestal for just being a big fan of something, and just recognize that they're just people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the real thing. Is like, I mean, even artists or whoever, they're all just people out there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's
So
just like
I think that's sort of the main takeaway.
Yeah, I agree. And that's like kind of like a double thing. Like, I think this we're gonna have to keep coming back to as like personal accountability for what you do and what you follow. But like it was like, what was that? I lost my train of thought, dude. I was totally like, I had a question, but I was just like for everybody. I guess I would want to like quick if anybody has an answer. Like, what do you think? What do you do? Right. So eventually we're gonna get to this point. I think we're kind of at this point now. We're all pretty. I think as emotionally volatile as all of us tend to be, I think we're kind of at this point where everybody's kind of understands where they are, like as far as like a large group. Like there's like these clear divisions within the group of like, I don't interact with that person because of this, and like there's not a lot of gray area. How do like we start like healing those giant rifts? Is there any way to like connect to the other side? Because like here's the thing, right? Like I think follow trains at the end of the day, like my personal opinion is that they are positive, just like most people said, but they can be exploited. I think if we can get to the point where we're healing and we can start growing the community again, because our artists deserve it. And if we can start using, if like, here's the thing, right? Like if we can get at any kind of focused as a group of people, our actual power to push artists that we believe in is really strong. Like not a lot of groups of in anything have that kind of earned media power behind it where you can just be like, that's who we want to be dope, and they'll be dope, right? Like it's like if we can somehow merge that rift and be better for each other and be better for the artists, what would be possibly something we can do to start doing that for each other? Or do we have to like burn it down first?
Anarchy.
That was gonna be your answer, Jay. That was. I looked at. There's a reason I put you in red, my friend.
Throwing Molotovs all day.
I don't know. I kind of have, I guess, something. I feel like the people who want to build the community are kind of already out there doing that. Not all of them yet, or maybe some of them haven't, reach their potential of what they're trying to do yet, and they're still working on it. But I mean, like you have this show, and Sarah, you have like a way to connect people. Like I think people out there are already kind of, I don't know, the people who want to are doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like sort of up to each person who's doing it to try to like make it better as they help grow the community, type of thing.
Yeah.
What? Anybody else have anything to add?
I mean, I kind of have a hard time not forgiving people, but like allowing them enough space to prove me wrong, because usually like if I'm gonna go out of my way to cause a problem with somebody, it's because like I've seen this before and it's clear that that's how they are and that's their behavior. And I'm kind of like I'll give them enough space to prove me wrong, but it's kind of tough to like allow people to have that opportunity to try and build that bridge again, because once I'm done with somebody like that, that's it. That's how I work. That's how I've always been.
Yeah.
The second somebody's done enough to me, it's just like, hey, bye, gone. Like, and it's going to be tough because the community is full of like, it's such a diverse, like there's so many different subgenres and different categories of things that you can fall into. So it's kind of like, even we're seeing it with like, I'm old school dubstep and I have a problem sometimes with new sounds and stuff like that. So it's like I'm training myself to not think that way and be like, all dubstep is good. It's just some of it's not for me, you know? So it's that mentality of like working to build bridges between even just simple things is imperative so that we can move forward, bridging bigger gaps and bigger issues.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted that I have this show, right? Because like listening to you talk about that is way different than what you are known for on Twitter. Like I know I know the way you think because I know the way you think though, because sometimes you'll have like those deeper rants on your actual page, but unless you're following you don't know that you actually are working on yourself. You're not just some fucking guy who likes to see everything burn the fuck down. Well, you are, but that's only a small part of you. Like
that's just your side job.
Yeah.
That's just my hobby.
You're just you're a hobby arsonist. That's okay.
But not.
I was going on my Twitter bio right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just changing that right now. Give me a sec.
I'll change my Twitter at the end of this.
This is inadmissible evidence.
But yeah, like that. So like that's what's interesting, and that's kind of where I was going with that too. Like I think everybody plays a role in a larger community, right? Like nobody has to be not everybody's going to be perfect. Some people are more like, what is the word I'm looking for? Abrasive. So it's easier for them to be like, hey, you were a dick. And other people they're more like Sarah, who wants to bring people in and let them know that they have a place and that they're comforting. Like Sarah obviously like will hold somebody accountable when they're being a dick probably, but Jay is gonna fucking, that's his skill. That's what he does. Like he will
keep him backpedaling all day.
Yeah, he will. I mean, and so here's, and that's why. So I'm gonna get into like a different topic. We're kind of done with the follow chain thing. We kind of the conclusion that it is personal responsibility for all of us to start policing kind of the platform that we give to people, and not really policing ourselves, and just being like, hey, because like you're not really going around and locking people up. You're like just telling people like, hey, this person, maybe is not who you think they are, like, or just challenging ideas in public, so they have to show who they are, or just kind of live and let live, depending on what you feel. But like I was kind of getting into this before, like holding people accountable is like a very specific skill, right? Like I don't understand what the uproar was, and I guess I'll have a button for this, right? Do I have a button for this? No, that's Plague Raves. I don't want that one. I thought I had.
Oh, you want to go there? You want to ruin this whole thing? Let's go.
I had. That's where I had if I had ultimate extra time, but I think I don't have it anymore. So, so what I wanted to talk about is I swear to God, I have it. Where is it? There it is. I wanted to show this because they made a really good joke. It's apology, but APP because it's an app. So anyway, because they use their notes app on the app Twitter, I thought that was clever. Anyway, you are like really good at like you did that thing. You did this a couple times, maybe 3 times now. We like literally break down why somebody's public apology is ass. And people didn't like that. They think that's like really toxic. And I thought that was like, I was like, yeah, I get where you're coming from. That is kind of, I mean, it is a dick move in general. Thank you, Mike, for the description. I appreciate you. But it's an important move because if they listen to you, they will become a much better public, person, a much better part of the community. Because instead of saying like, I'm sorry, but it's like, no. Like, it's like you're sorry and you're taking accountability and you're kind of helping them with that. And I don't know. I kind of want to hear what chat has to say. And I kind of want to hear what you have to say about why you do that and what your thought process is with that. And everybody else is in here is response to that. But you go ahead, Jay. Do your thing. Floor is yours.
There he goes.
There he goes. Ah! He just got way closer and super intense.
Hello.
Hi.
Nothing personal,
You're
kids.
Surprise.
gonna-
Okay. Can you repeat if there's a question or just anything you want me to talk about specifically in regards to apology policing, which is apparently my forte?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. But like, I was saying that you were better. I'm correcting myself too. I'm sorry. You prefer they them. I'm super sorry. I was using him.
No, it's all good. All good. Noise.
But we're talking about how you're doing the whole like the apology thing, and how some people are responding to it. I don't understand the responses. Like, why do you tell me more about like why do you do it? And I think it's overall a good thing. Why do you think it's a good thing?
I kind of do it partially, and I know this is going to sound selfish, because I like making people squirm when I know that they're not sorry for what they've done. It's fun to see people try and work their way out of a situation where they're clearly in the wrong. And everybody knows I love doing things for clout. That's all I do. I got my Twitter account banned because of clout, because apparently that's all I love. That's sarcasm, everybody. Would like to clarify that for the people in the room that can't get that. But I think it's important because when you're discussing people's apologies and how they act, their apologies say exactly how they feel. Because there was one that I did recently that I got a lot of pushback from a lot of big follower accounts. And again, if you don't like it, that's okay. That's not my problem. But I heard from other people that were in the same groups as them that person was not apologetic at all about their actions, and it had to be like over and over and over explained to them why it was wrong. So when I see that, those kind of like half-assed apologies, knowing that they're just saying it because they got caught, not because they're sorry, it's easier to prove like, hey, this is what that means, this is what that means, this is what that means. And it's important at the end of the day to take acknowledgement of the fact that you did something wrong. When I fuck up and I piss off my girlfriend, it's not, oh, I did this because of this. It's because, hey, like, I'm sorry. This is what I did to hurt you. This is what I'm going to do to be better.
Yeah, and
it's not just bits and pieces of like, oh, like, here's me trying to justify my actions and here's me trying to deflect away from the problem. It's all about, like, let's just open up, say, I'm sorry. This is what I did. This is how I'm going to be better. And again, I'm going to pedal myself here. I'm starting a new business, $500. I will write your apology for you. The downside is you might not have any followers and you're out $500, but also I don't care.
What are you guys feeling about his like the apologies? Like I guess he's kind of like breaking down his apologies. How do you guys feel about that? Anybody have any response to that at all? Even in chat or anywhere? No? All right. Ron, you got anything?
I was waiting to see if anyone else had anything.
I was just getting cut it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I see it happen, and I'm just like, yeah, that person definitely, like, whatever. Honestly, most of the time, I would agree with just like what's going on. But at the same time, it's like I know I don't have the energy nor desire to like do stuff like that. So, like, I applaud you.
Yeah. It takes,
but also,
it takes a lot of fury or whatever. I don't know how you do it. Where it comes from? Does it come from like a fury that you get when you see these people tweet these things, or is it just like a "ooh, I got time today" like type of shit?
Oh, he's frozen.
He's froze again.
Oof.
I'm hello. Yes,
hello.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Hi. My Wi-Fi is kind of garbage, so.
That's right. Did you hear
what
said?
was the topic of conversation? No, I did not.
Oh, okay. We're saying like, what is like, where do you get the? Ron was saying he sees the same stuff. He just doesn't have the energy to do it. Where does your energy come from? Is it like a seething pit in your stomach, or is it like, or do you like just wake up and be like, I have time today whenever you see a tweet?
Okay. I want to say this is a joke, but it's not. I was always a very small kid growing up, so I had to come up with a defense mechanism, and unfortunately that one was anger, and I'm trying to work on that one. And I just kind of have a seething dislike for humanity. It's kind of like people suck, and you point out that people are doing something wrong, and you're the asshole for doing it. So it kind of makes it easier to wake up in the morning and choose chaos. It's like the first thing I wake up and I open up my Twitter account and I see something and it's like, oh my fucking, like, people cannot be that dumb.
We're doing this again? What the
fuck? We're starting again? Like, I'm like 10 concussions deep. I'm not the brightest person.
Yeah.
I'm barely human on a good day, but it's like I see something and it's like I'm not that. What?
I feel like you could teach debate 101.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, fair.
That's gonna be no fun. Come
Fair.
on, how am I gonna make people squirm if everybody knows my tactics?
It's actually a great point.
I know them. I was like, I mean, I would like to debate you, but I most of the time agree with you in a lot of things that you say. That's why I keep you like I want to keep you close as a person like around my circle, like because it's like
You
if
just don't
I'm
wanna
being
get
an ass,
canceled,
because if
Rob. I
I'm being
see
an
how it is.
asshole and you're gonna tell me I'm an asshole no matter how much you like me, and that's really important to me. Like I think that's not enough important. That's not enough. Like not enough people do that. So
I think it's important. Like I said, I hold myself to a very high standard. I think it's important that everybody holds themselves to a higher standard and apply that to everybody, because at the end of the day, we're all just meat popsicles trying to get through the end of the day.
yeah.
Sure.
Like it's important that we as people grow together, because if some of us are making sure that other people are taken care of and other people are just like fuck that, like it's just going to cause more problems, right?
Yeah, I tried to fix my hair and I made it way worse. Sorry, hold on. I gotta fix this. It's driving me nuts.
Just get a tooth, man. Come on.
Sure.
All right, that's close enough. No, I agree, and I think so. I'm not trying to say like everybody should be like fucking. Let's all be like Jay, but I'm trying to say like we should definitely be better at like holding our friends for what they say. Like be like, hey, bro, we don't do that. We don't like, and here's why. And here's why. Not just what you're saying is bad, but educate yourself well enough to tell the other person why they're being an asshole. And I think that's really important. And I think that's why it's good to have antagonist ideas. Like even though they're like, hey, like practice with those ideas. When you see something online, be like, all right, why do I feel this is intuitively a bad thing to think? Do your research, talk about it. And then you're armed to talk to them about why you believe they're wrong. And that's a better way to go about it than any way around it. Like you don't have to be nice the way you say it, but you do have to be educated like on the topic.
And I guess like I do understand that like I and a lot of my friends are more abrasive, and I'm okay being abrasive because I understand a lot of the times, and from experience watching people in this community be nice, it doesn't get across.
Yeah.
Some people, it needs somebody. Like I'm somebody that if somebody comes up and says nicely, hey, you did this wrong, and be like, no. Like I need somebody to come at me like eye to eye and say like, here's why.
And that's the thing. Everybody responds to different things, like differently. So like, it's a public forum. So like, if you're getting grilled by somebody who's abrasive, you don't have to take that beating, but like, you should at least listen to what they have to say. Like take it, internalize it for later, and then process it. Like, you don't have to be like in the moment. You don't have to be like, because I did this really recently. Like somebody came at me and was like, your point is spreading this, and I was like, yeah. And at first I was like, fuck you. And then I was like, you know what? I was wrong. And I even went and told that person, thank you for, calling me out. But like, I responded that way because that's a natural human response to tell somebody to fuck off when you emotionally attack them. Your ego is just like, you're not fucking Gandhi, and Gandhi was a dick anyway, but like, you're not fucking like, you're not like,
good save.
But you know what I mean? You're not like a monk. You're not going to be able to like constantly be self-aware, but just, communicate. It's like we're on a public forum. You have to constantly be communicating.
Yeah.
The first thing you do is get self-defensive, and you're like, no, I'm right. Like, fuck off, and then block them.
Yeah.
Like,
The mute
see what they're
button.
trying to say, what they're trying to point out. Either you tell them, hey, let's DM and talk about this, or if you want to go public with this, we can go public with it, and you can hold me accountable for what I'm saying.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then move on.
Yeah, I feel you. Hell yeah.
Jay's like, no, we're doing it publicly.
All I do is public. All I do. DMs closed for a reason.
Your DMs are closed, dude. I always DM you. You never respond to me. I thought you just didn't like me, bro.
No, I'm legitimately so bad at responding to things. Like I won't even respond to my partner half the day.
I was only fake calling you out. I was only a little bit calling you out. I'm just kidding.
Fight me, Rob. Let's go. No, I think I think, and that's kind of like I get a lot of shit for being like, why don't you just DM people? And again, like public actions, no matter what, like answering things in private only gives people time to make excuses. And if you're gonna make excuses, everyone should see the excuses that you're making. So like it's kind of this catch-22 of like, oh, I'm an asshole because I'm publicly calling people out, but at the same time, like other people need to see how this works, like how you're trying to justify things.
Yeah, and they get to see kind of your gears turning, like on live TV, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Like Mike said, no DMs.
No DMs. Yeah.
Or we'll send the receipts, whichever.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, for sure. I got the receipts. All right. Yeah, that was a pretty good talk. Do you guys have anything you want to add or want to talk about specifically? Any of you have a specific topic that you brought to the table today that you want to talk about that's been kind of, underneath you that you want to talk about to a large group of people with your mouth instead of your fingers?
I feel like we should just give a short shout out to the mute button.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably the best Twitter feature.
Yeah. Anybody who's in this chat that hasn't really uses Twitter as heavily or is just getting into it, mute button. Like, you control your experience on Twitter. Like, you can choose who you have in your echo chamber or whatever. Use the mute button, protect your sanity. Jesus, it's rough out there in the streets.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anybody wants to add?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep.
You cut out in and out every once in a while, but I can hear you.
I don't know how many people are in the actual chat. For follow train purposes, since not everybody likes the same genre that everybody else does, would you, whoever's in the chat, and if you do follow trains, would you want it to be by genre? Would you want it to just be like bass heads? Would you want it to be Redim? Although I think Redim should be postponed a little bit. Or like house music, techno music. Or do we just want to continue just doing a one generalized follow train?
I don't know. That's kind of an interesting question because I feel like as somebody who likes something from every section of that, it's like I certainly realize the fan bases for some subgenres are going to be much smaller than others, or like less mainstream or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a good idea in the sense of like, would that work as one of them? I think so. It's not the only way to do it, but at the same time,
put in a trial for it?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe try it one of these times and see how well it works. And if it doesn't, we never bring it up again.
Yeah, I feel like getting people to like do one step more of interaction would say like you like this, but also post your favorite song of this thing. You see what I mean? So like, but I feel like that also it's not even like, I mean, that's cool for finding new music, obviously, but it's also just sort of like an extra step of like weeding out people who are just sort of there for a quick click and then they're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's something too. Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt, but like that's something I would add to like the follow train. I actually, like I said, one of the reasons why I did this is I personally enjoyed the follow train atmosphere when it was really high, and I do still do them every once in a while just because like I do like meeting new people. Almost everybody I've met is either from a follow train or like from like that meeting of that person over like a person down, so. I do enjoy them, but I really do think that would be really cool to find more ways to be like interactive with it for the first time, and that way you don't get the people who are just like you like say yeah or whatever, like posted period, and then they get followers and they don't follow back. They're more like immersed. Like, give me your favorite festival story or something. I think that's like important too. At which festival, and then you kind of get like a feel for what they listen to. Just more interaction in general. I think the favorite song is dope because then you get plays for other artists, which I think is awesome as well. Like, I think it's really good because that's something that serves the community overall. But yeah, you can go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just like inspired.
It's all good. You were inspired. You had a train thought. I think it's important. I like the idea of kind of like doing it within genres, but at the same time, like I'm somebody that I've been listening to dubstep for like 10 years now, and I just like within the past 3 months got into house music. So like I think it's cool that we have this opportunity to like cross genres and be like I said earlier, I'm from like the metal and the hardcore community. It's cool when you find people that like the same kind of music as you, but also like something totally different because you're entirely inspired to go listen to something different. My girlfriend listens to a lot of like pop punk and indie rock, and I had no no desire to listen to it before we met. Now I'm a huge fan of all of it. So I think it's cool to have people interact with like a favorite festival story or like songs, but I also think it's cool to interact with people that aren't exactly in your community as well, that you're kind of like vaguely attached to, but not really. I don't know. It's kind of like this weird middle ground of like I like both ways of it. I agree with making it more like, oh, do something like making it more interesting than just like, oh, post a period. Like, or
I don't think
like
they've ever
this
done
and
that, but I know
will
people
follow
gotten
you.
away with like I'm posting an emoji because I did it, and I was like, because I was real lazy, and that's how I know you can get away with it. I posted an emoji, like 4 people followed me. I was like, I gotta follow these fuckers back. I was like, I didn't expect anybody to interact with me. I was just bored on my phone, and then like I was like, oh, but then they ended up being like the 4 people that did follow me ended up being pretty cool. So, but like at the same time, it was just like I was that person, so I know I'm not above exploiting things when I'm bored.
Aren't we
yeah,
all?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Anybody else have anything to add? No? Think we're good?
I have something.
All right, go ahead.
Melody mentioned in the comment section. Just look at their page before following them. I think that's really important. Anybody that follows me, I
Yes.
try and like take a quick sift through their replies and their likes to see if there's anything that it's like, oh, you know what? Like, I don't want to deal with that. Mainly because I'm very political and I don't necessarily want to be following somebody that posts something that's like, oh, you know, I don't want to deal with that right now. You know, like I think it's important to curate your own feed.
Yeah.
And the mute button,
audit the people you
please,
follow.
like godsend.
That's super important. Yeah, I agree with you. Because if you don't audit the people you follow, you give them more of a platform.
Yeah.
Like, you know, on top of, even if you mute them, sometimes it's like, I guarantee there's still some people I follow that I don't actually know what their actual stance is on anything. So if somebody, like, if I ever follow somebody that's shitty, you just gotta message me and be like, hey, this guy's shitty. And I'll just go to their page and be like, how shitty are they? And then I'll be like, oh, maybe I should unfollow. You know, like.
Rob gains the gray hair every time you do that.
Yeah, I think I'll probably look really good with a gray hair beard, though. You know what I'm saying? But
Well,
anyway,
By the
On a
way,
white
thanks,
hair.
Mel, for being there for me.
what was that?
Mel is actually one of my best friends. So.
I didn't hear what you said. You cut out a little bit.
I say shout out to Mel because she's one of my best friends, and she's been super active in this chat. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you so much for being in the chat. I appreciate you like a lot. The chat's just as important as anybody you guys are on the show, you know? So you're really important to the discourse as well. You fuel the conversation that's being had here. So thank you guys for chatting and coming by. Anybody else want to do any quick shout outs?
Shout out to the bees. Apparently I'm legally
Yeah.
mandated to say that via Mike.
The bees.
Mike, I love you. And I appreciate everything that you do and everything that you're about.
Yeah, Mike, thank you.
Or a boot, I should say.
Boot, yeah.
A boot.
And thank you so much for the subscription, guys. Anybody who subscribed or followed today, I appreciate you as well. You obviously make this engine keep going. You're the oil, or I don't know, gasoline. You're a part. I'm not good with machines. Yeah.
Or the grease.
Machine part.
You gotta use the grease before you drill anything.
Yeah,
Come on.
there you go. I got Otter Daddy's important. Yeah, you're important.
That's a debatable situation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. We love him, but important? I don't know.
UKF.
Love you,
Rob.
Jeremy.
Yeah, put the revolver fire chats. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Melly. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the fire emojis. I'm gonna wrap it up. If you missed any of the chat, the full chat will be on my YouTube channel. If you want to go subscribe to that right now, that would help greatly. Exclamation point YouTube in the chat. It'll take you right to there, and you can hit subscribe, and you can go there. And so the full video will be up in 24 hours. There's gonna be clips that you guys can share if there's anything really important. Let me know. Tweet at me if you want a specific clip. Otherwise, I'm just going to go at my description and I'll throw those up on Twitch, or I'm sorry, on Twitter as soon as those are ready. So again, thank you guys for coming out. Please throw a like or subscription if you haven't already on my YouTube. And have a great night. Be kind to each other. I'm going to say do the plur thing, but you know, But just basically be kind to each other. Take care, you guys. Have a great night. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us, Rob.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Later.
You're awesome. I appreciate you.
Fun times. Fun
Talk to you
times.
guys soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.
See ya.